Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Welcome to the bonus show. Here's a story from Mary Riley about what happened when the shutdown ended to John Boehner's Facebook page, and just in general about social media and how the Tea Partiers reacted to the shutdown. Now, on this page, there's a whole bunch of Facebook posts to John Boehner's Facebook page, and I know some of these are from trolls, almost definitely. Like this one. I am flying my Confederate flag upside down and at half staff because of rhinos like Boehner, who caved to a Kenyan Hawaiian Muslim atheist bankster Rastafarian communist. Now, clearly, the person who wrote this article did not realize that was trolling.
Right.
But there are a ton of these comments that clearly are from annoyed Tea Partiers who wanted the government shutdown to continue. And like this one, drop dead traitor. Anyone that supports a $17 trillion debt, not to climb more, aiding every Islamist regime in the Middle East, a so-called healthcare plan that destroys private healthcare, and has 20 new taxes breaking the middle class back and is designed for nothing more than total government control, is an entitlement-minded, American-hating, uninformed leech. So things like this coming from all over the place. And these are presumably people who loved John Boehner hours before the news broke about this. What are your thoughts on this, chaos?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think that it's good for two reasons. Number one, it might help to put some movement into the two-party system that we have, which I have a problem with, as you know. And if it has to be one party that falls apart, I would rather it be the Republican Party, because obviously I agree with more when it comes to the Democratic Party than the Republican Party. So I think it's great. Hopefully, I just don't yet know if this is all going to be fun and games and it won't affect the election in any way, or if it will actually have some kind of lasting impact on the 2014 election. I hope it does, and I hope Democrats take over the House. I just don't know if it will. And if it doesn't, then it will have been good for little more than some laughs.
Yeah. Well, it seems like these Tea Publicans are pretty fickle, and it doesn't take much to get on their bad side.
Yeah.
What a ridiculous group of people. Anyway, it's very amusing if you go on the John Boehner Facebook page. Just on this one post of his regarding the end of the shutdown, there were about 22,000 comments, probably a lot more now, as that was several days ago.
Yeah, it's obviously a mix of people that are just ridiculing and trolling, but we know that there are tons of right-wingers that are angry. I mean, there's basically completely opposed views within the Republican Party, so there's no doubt that there will be supporters of each of those views that will be angry with the other side.
Let's talk about Ray Kurzweil. Now, this is a Google executive who...
Well, let's hold on. Now we have to clarify. Ray Kurzweil is a longtime futurist and all-around quirky guy who has been brought on by Google as like their chief technology officer or something like that. To say he's an executive, he's been given like a token position because they want to say he's an executive.
Well, I'm sure he's getting some nice stock options.
Yeah.
So clearly he does work for the company, and he does represent the company now. But you're right. I mean, his career is a little more diverse than just Google. But he is, like David said, a futurist, and he does believe that in the not too distant future, he will be able to upload his brain to a computer and essentially achieve immortality. He's 65 years old, and he currently takes 150 supplements a day, which he says is going to build enough bridges to ensure that the body holds out long enough for life-lengthening technology to come into its own.
Yeah, now I read one thing that says that he's actually reduced the number of supplements to like 75 from 150. I don't know if that's an outdated number you have or not, but there's a movie called it's something man. It's like not Renaissance Man. It's like Transformational Man. If you looked it up, Lewis, you would easily be able to find it. That's for sure. Where he goes through his routines, and he's a really quirky guy also in that he has all of these like facial tics and all of this stuff that he's very, very busy. His body is always busy doing stuff. And once I think I read that his supplements, Lewis, be it 75 or 150, are helping to reprogram his DNA or something like that.
And that was according to him?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my question to you. If you are the person who is looking for futurists, technologists, and in general, brilliant people to come work for your company, which let's say is a Google-esque company, and you will presumably be investing a lot in whichever person you hire for this job, and you sit down with this guy and he says, yeah, I take 150 supplements a day to preserve myself until the technology comes along to extend my life for a very long time. Would you just assume that this person is crazy and just write them off immediately? Because I think I had, not knowing anything else about the person other than their work, I think I would.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, it sounds really odd. But at the same time, you have people who are brilliant at whatever job or field they work in, and they just have something that's completely off, right? Specifically when it comes to issues of like longevity and extending life, I think if I was going to find someone to fund to do more stuff, Ray Kurzweil does have a lot of successes, right? I mean, factually, he has created the device that allows blind people to read, because it can kind of like read words off of paper and turn them into audio. He has made predictions that have come true. But if I were to fund somebody working on longevity, I might fund Aubrey de Grey, who we've had on the program a couple of times. He works in Cambridge, England, and in California on issues of longevity. And I don't know, for some reason, being familiar with both of their work, I think that you could get at least equal or better return by funding Aubrey de Grey than you would Ray Kurzweil, although Ray Kurzweil has had very specific successes in his career that Aubrey de Grey maybe can't say that he has had.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know I think the exact reason for Google to bring him on was just that he is a great mind and he can help advance the company. And unfortunately, I don't think it might not have anything to do with longevity and that type of thing. But I don't know. Something about this just struck me as really odd. Obviously, he's a smart guy and he's had some successes, but I don't know. I can't help but thinking he's kind of crazy, because I wonder what nutritionists and experts in those types of fields would say about his supplement intake.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, it's just kind of an odd story. It's kind of an odd guy. But David, tell us about this internet scam. All
right. So I need the audience's advice on this. Everybody knows those emails that you get from, Barrister John Williams III, or whatever the case may be, where they're from England. They have like $8 million, 8 million British pounds that have been left somewhere. They need your help getting them out of the country, and you can keep half the money. Everyone is familiar with these email scams, right, Lewis?
Oh, yeah. They've been around for a very long time.
Okay. So I got one and I decided just to respond to it, okay? And I wrote back and I said, wow, I want to help. I want to help get the money out of the country. What do we have to do? And I had a couple of exchanges with the guy. He sent me, in order to prove his identity so I would be comfortable working with him, he said he was sending me a scan of his identification card. And when you look at it, it's clearly like a picture of some guy, like a white-haired executive, superimposed onto some kind of like generic ID card it's the most obvious fake thing in the world. There's a 0% chance that the guy I'm emailing with is the guy in the picture. And I actually wrote back and I said, first of all, I'm operating with this guy under a fake name. And the fake name is people are familiar with my fake persona, Diego Kesterbaum, a Jewish Hispanic guy, kind of vaguely Jewish and Hispanic. So anyway, the name I've used for this guy is, I decided to use the name Max, right? Because I've always thought the name Max was kind of, interesting name. But I decided to make it even funnier. Sometimes Max is short for Maxwell, and sometimes Max is short for Maximilian. So I told him that it's Maxwell a million, okay? And then I said that my middle name is Hussein. So as far as this guy knows, he's dealing with Maxwell a million Hussein Kesterbaum in order to get 8 million British pounds out of the UK. So I provided him some basic information, all fake, like a fake address, whatever. And I asked him, in order to really satisfy me that he is who he says he is, could he take a picture of himself holding up a piece of paper that has my full name on it? And he responded that he couldn't do that. He had so of course, there was some reason why he couldn't do that. So anyway, now we're at the point where he wants to get the whole thing moving. So he sent me a bunch of like attached documents that he wants me to sign and send back to him. And also he's asked for information like my bank account number and all of these different things. So obviously I'm not going to give him that information, but I don't want to just drop the entire thing now. I know that there are people who are experts at doing this type of stuff. Maybe I just have to drop it. But if the audience has ideas for what can I do now to get something out of him, given that he's awaiting for my bank account number, routing number, and all of this information, social security number, et cetera, stuff I'm not going to give him. What do I do? Like, can you think of anything, Lewis, that I can do to keep it going, to see how far the guy will go to try to steal probably $1,500 from me or something? Who knows? I'm sure at a certain point, there will be some point at which I need to pay something in order to get the money released, or he'll send me a check for more than the amount and have me deposit it, and I have to send the difference to him, but the initial check will, of course, not be a valid check. Eventually, that's where it's going,
Yeah, it's hard to say what you should do. I mean, and at what point does the scammer just give up and say, "All right, this guy's been giving me the runaround for too long now.
Right.
It's just not worth my time and effort." I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think we need help from someone out there who's done this type of thing before to know exactly what to do to mess with this guy.
Yeah, Maxwell a million Hussein Kesterbaum really needs your help here. And once the whole thing's all done, obviously I'll present it to our audience and say this is what happened. But if you have any ideas, maybe it just has to end. We've only exchanged like 3 emails, and now he wants the bank info and all of that stuff. If there's anything I could do that would not be obvious to him that I am not taking it seriously, but that would get us another response or something more, email me and we'll put it in. We'll make it happen, Lewis.
Yeah. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, this becomes a little more interesting than it is right now. I mean, I know we've talked before about some of those really successful scamming the scammer type things.
Right.
But yeah, this is in the early stages, so we'll see what happens, and we'll see everyone tomorrow.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.